Self-righteousness is cock-blocking, collective, and individual healing. You heard that right. Self-righteousness is cock-blocking, collective, and individual healing. You see, this message is coming through that a lot of people are not seeking healing to actually be free mentally and emotionally. A lot of people are seeking healing because they want to know where it is that they should direct the more negative feelings that they're experiencing. They're wanting to know who they should direct those feelings towards. They're wanting to know who they should place the blame on. They're wanting to know who they should point the finger at. And what that does on an individual level and on a collective level is it drives us deeper and deeper into living under the illusion of separation. Of course, it's important to identify, right, the people who harmed us. It's important for us to identify how we've harmed other people and how we've harmed ourselves. Of course, that's important. We want to see that. We want to look at that so that we can process it, so that we can work through it, so that we can move forward. So what I'm hearing is that instead of people seeking healing so that they can actually surrender the narratives and stories that are keeping them up at night, they're looking at the stories so that they can know who to blame, so that they can know who to place the finger at. But again, this just keeps us living under the illusion of separation. So what you want to do instead is number one, you want to practice acceptance. You want to practice acceptance. You want to say, I accept that this happened to me. I accept that there is nothing that I can do to change what happened to me. I accept that there is nothing that I can do to change who that individual or who those people were at that particular moment in time. Because that's often what a lot of our grievance is about. It's about the fact that at a certain point in time in the past, people were who they were, and there was nothing, we were powerless. There was nothing that we could do in that moment to change those people. And so we struggle with accepting that those people just were who they were in that moment. And so what we have to do is we have to accept that there's nothing that we can do to change those past versions of those individuals and even ourselves, right? So we want to practice acceptance. We want to accept that thing that caused me pain, that happened, that circumstance, that situation, that experience that happened, it caused me pain. We want to look at it and we want to say, I accept that this happened. It kind of falls in line with a video that I posted not too long ago where I said, in order for it to heal, in order for you to integrate those ugly pieces of the story, you have to integrate it through your heart, and you do that by letting your love rest upon it. So that goes hand in hand. Practicing acceptance and letting your love rest upon it is basically the same thing, right? So you want to practice acceptance, and you also want to be open to surrendering the stories, right? A lot of times we're gripping the stories. We're gripping the stories of the past, right? We're gripping them as if it's something that we need to keep forever and ever. But even right now, Spirit is saying it's not something for you to keep forever and ever. It's something for you to look back on. It's something for you to learn from. It's something for you to use as a stepping stone to help you evolve into the more authentic version of yourself. And so, can you surrender the stories? Well, if you want to experience true healing, deep, authentic healing, if you really want to transcend how it is that you feel in your mind and body, then yes, you will choose to surrender. You will choose to look at that story and say, you know what? This was a story. This was not, and here's the thing, it's not even a story. This was a moment in time. This was a chapter. This was a section of the book, and I've moved past it. I've turned the page. I'm ready to surrender it. I'm ready to move on to the next part, right? So you want to practice acceptance. You want to let your love rest upon it. You want to surrender the stories, because it's not the actual thing that occurred that is causing you pain anymore. It's your attachment to the story. It's your attachment to this need to regurgitate the story over and over and over again, right? And so you really want to be open to surrendering the stories. You want to be open to letting go of the stories so that your mind can be free, so that clarity can come through, so that mental and emotional well-being can be your foundation, right? So you want to practice acceptance. You want to surrender the stories. You want to surrender the narratives that you've been repeating over and over in your mind that have caused you to live with some resistance, that have caused you to live with some fear, that have caused you to live with just bitterness and heaviness in your heart space. I can feel it right here. I can feel the bitterness. I can feel the burden, because that's what when we hold on to the stories, they're burdens. They burden our hearts. And if we want our hearts to be free, if we want to experience collective healing, then we have to let the burdens go. We have to let the stories go. And so, in order for you to move out of this space of living in a self-righteous way, of approaching people in a self-righteous way, in order for you to move out of that space, you really just have to let your love rest upon it. You have to let your love rest upon every bit of the story. You have to let your love rest upon every bit of the story. You have to say, this story no longer belongs. You have to say, this story does not belong to who I am today. But who I am today, the person who is strong, who is powerful, who is beautiful, who is everything that God wants me to be. I am that person because I moved beyond that story. Because even in the moments when I felt weak, I relied on what little bit of strength I had to carry me through. Right? So you're not letting go of the story because you're not letting go of who you are as a result of moving through those stories. You're letting go of the attachment to the story. You're saying thank you to the story for helping you to become who you are, for teaching you, for growing you up, for helping you to evolve, for teaching you how to live with discernment, for teaching you how to live with boundaries, for teaching you how to love yourself unconditionally, for teaching you how to love others unconditionally, even when it's hard. That's why you look back at those stories. You don't look back at the stories so you can figure out who to blame or who to point your finger at. You look back at them so that you can say thank you. Thank you, because you are who you are today because you lived through those stories.